This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, the one in Best of One, and today in the arena I get to show you my big face cam. Should I start the video with big face cam? It seems to be a thing lately. People going around doing big face, so you can see all of this before we see all of this. Ooh, transition, fade. It should probably be like a quick cut, but I'm like slow fade because I've got an old school vibe. Anyway, what's up? This is Sultai. Lame, boring Sultai. I feel it's important to do an update video. Ranks have reset. I am back in the Platinum, and I'm going to try to get back to Mythic with the deck of choice from last season, which was Fae of Wishes Sultai. But I found that that deck wasn't performing the way I needed to, and I had to make some changes. So this is how I'm going to run it this season, and I think it's a little bit better. The last deck was all about Arboreal Grazer into Nissa, so there were a lot of card selections made with Arboreal Grazer in mind, like Teferi to cycle away the Grazers late in the game so they weren't completely dead cards. But I found that ramping into Nissa, the format has really taken this card into account, and they're very good at creating battlefields that can attack Nissa to death. Like, people are just better at playing against Nissa right now. Obviously, if you ramp into Nissa on the play, sometimes they can do nothing. But I often found myself in spots where, okay, I played a few cards, I played a blocker, I played my Nissa, and then they kill it, either like with Embercleave or with Primal Might. Like, the decks have become very good at making sure that just losing to Nissa doesn't happen too often. And then often I untap and it's like, what do I do now? Ugh, out of there. So I shifted away from what I would call the Sultai ramp deck, which had 4 copies of Fae of Wishes, because once you had 1,000,000 mana, you could access your wish board and have the perfect card for every situation. And I've shifted into Sultai Control, which focuses more on removal spells like Heartless Act and Eliminate, and Thought Erasure is in the deck to take those key cards away from the opponent. And I think that that's an important change, to run some amount of these and interact with the opponent instead of just trying to make your big plays. I think that shows that the meta is very aggressive. You want to do that in a meta that is trying to destroy you and making your Nissa bad. And yeah, also flash decks, like flash decks have been a problem, so these cards are very good against those. Other cards that are very good in more control-y spots are Casualties of War and Shark Typhoon, so that when the game goes longer, you get stronger. And Shark Typhoon in particular, a pretty key card there, as it can't be countered. You can sink all that mana into it with Nissa Who Shakes the World, Casualties of War. These are cards that I might have fetched with Fae of Wishes in the past. They're now in the main deck because I don't have time to fetch them with Faes, because I don't always have a Nissa. So yeah, in this version of the deck, I like having some Haymakers in the deck to get two Cultivates, because I was still missing land drops and having problems running 28 freaking land. So I added 2 Cultivate to the deck. It seems to help a little bit, unless your third land is tapped, which comes up even though it shouldn't. Like, when you get a hand that's Triome Passage and you don't draw another land, what were you supposed to do? Anyway, complaining about land before we start the video. It's a new record. But yeah, this is the deck I'm going to use for at least a good portion of the Mythic run, and I wanted to share it because I know you guys like it when I update things. This deck has a shelf life of about 3 more weeks, so I wouldn't craft it, but if you are some of the people who got to Mythic with the Fae of Wishes Best of One Sultai list I posted that was so freaking awesome last season, maybe you want to try this one. And I wouldn't craft things for it. Hopefully you have some of these cards lying around, and it's a pretty easy adjustment, as the big changes are all uncommons. So yeah, this one is for the gamers getting up to Mythic. And I'm going to talk about the Mythic run from last month in the outro, so make sure you check that out. I'm going to jump over here to talk about the sideboard. Mostly I want cheap cards that interact with the opponent, and I want late game cards that win the game. We only have one Fae, so the impact of all of these cards is a lot less than it used to be, so I don't think it's worth going into. In really, really long games, you know you have a Jace in the sideboard to play for as a win con. In really, really short games, just grab the card that's going to most disrupt your opponent and let you get to the late game where you should be favored and your top decks are better than theirs. All right, I know that these games are probably going to run long just on account of it being a Sultai video. So let's dive in and let the nonsense begin. On the play with an Uro as our first play, I think is very doable. We're up against Lacquer of Talent. I will be the judge of that. You come up against me. Let's see what you've got. And what kind of low self-esteem person must you be to name yourself Lacquer of Talent? That or you're sarcastic. Don't know anyone like that. Looks like we get to deal with Yorion Rats. I've battled a few Yorion decks in my day. Casualties is pretty nice. Fae of Wishes for Ugin can be really nice, but they will attack our hand. We must be prepared for our hand to be assaulted. Alright, Ugin. You're not Ugin, you're Uro. But there's the Fae of Wishes, just like that. Right off the top. Actually didn't want to draw it this early. It's at risk of being taken from me. Yeah, that's nice. A little draw 3 action here on... I'm so jealous when somebody plays a Treacherous Blessing, man. Can't lie. Can't lie. Gets me. Here's Nissa. Let's animate for the Heartless Act, the Triome, in case we decide to use it. Let's do some damage. Let's make them pay for that blessing. They might have a Doom Foretold. That would be sad. But we could follow up with Casualties of War. Boom. Just like that. So let's not kill the Charming Prince because we're going to play Casualties. We make Doom Foretold basically beat itself. I don't think they'll block here. Destroy a land, an enchantment, and a creature. So usually you would never want to blow up someone's Treacherous Blessing, but we do. Doom Foretold will eat itself. The Treacherous Blessing is off the battlefield, so they can't blink it, and we get their white source. Four cards in the graveyard. A little ways to go yet for Uro. The opponent eliminates the Triome. 5 cards in graveyard. And they have the tapped land. Let's Uro up. I'm trying to save Fae to go fetch something relevant, but I need 1,000,000 mana to make that work. And it looks like that's not going to happen yet, as we've drawn every Heartless Act in our deck. I frickin' hate the Shuffler in Magic.
I'll phase
like
anything that stands in my way.
Really? They probably have 1 Kaya in their whole deck. They drew that in a perfect situation. We have 3 Heartless Acts in our whole deck. We draw all of them. And we're getting completely just destroyed. Ugh, it makes me so angry. I guess I feel like I build good decks, and then I don't get to draw like a good deck, and it bothers me. So do we get Casualties of War? We can take out this Kaya and something else. We could also kill it now with Noxious Grasp, but if we wait 1 more turn and give it 1 more turn, we get to blow up even more things. Could also grab Thought Distortion and try to just clear the world, but I think it's Casualties. I think Casualties is good. Do we put this out there? I don't think I cast this until I'm willing to discard for it. It's in a safe space right now.
You're not well. You better. You won.
The land will not forsake
This time.
you.
Buy your Yorion, sure. But they're not going to put anything on the field. That Thought Erasure is a nice draw. We have 5 cards in exile, so minusing the Kaya isn't particularly great, and I don't really care about these 2 cards. 2 Oath of Kayas and 2 Yorions. Alright. We'll take one of those. We'll get rid of this, I think. Yeah. Definitely not very important. And we can play you. And we can get it back. Possibly go get a negate next turn if the opponent keeps doing nothing. Or just get our Ugin, but they usually have hand hate in these decks.
I hope you said I won't. Am I dematerializing? Huh.
Huh. Alright, now they play an Oath of Kaya. I guess they know they won't miss it. Oh, are they double oathing? They are. Ooh. I love it. Wait till they point it. Don't move until they point the damage. Alright. Let's drop off some of these Heartless Acts. Pick the castle because it can make dudes and it's a white source. I think that's smarter than grabbing the Godless Shrine right now. Okay, another Godless Shrine. And here comes Yorion, Naked Yorion. They're trying to set up so that they can start using their castle to draw cards. What's the right Fey fetch? I think it's just Ugin, right? Ugin's so good against their deck. But they've got those castles. They can start drawing a ton of extra cards. And Ugin does die to Elspeth Conqueror's Death pretty easily. Do I have something more resilient that can get me a lot of card advantage? I don't. I definitely don't feel like I have that. Alright. Come here, Ugin. I'm gonna hold you in case we want to get this Fey back. Why is my dog barking? No one on the beach. Must be FedEx. She usually loves the FedEx. Must be new FedEx. Her name's Lily. She's a chocolate lab. She's a sweetie. She's given a little woof, but she rarely barks. It's kind of weird, actually. Alright, let's play the Fey. And we'll buy it back. Yep, those castles going to work. We have to get the opponent in range to shoot him a few times with Ugin. So, what instant speed removal do they use? We've seen Eliminate. Like, it's very risky to activate Fey and then have an Eliminate come in. So, let's go destroy target creature, no counters. Eliminate. Let's see if they're willing. Let's see if they have another one. Worst case scenario, I turn 2 lands into another spell because they respond with another play. Oh, they're digging. You love to see it. Down to 8. Okay, sweet. And Yorian's dead. Charming Prince. That's something we can bolt. Gives me the impression, though, that our opponent has... And go 2 to the bottom. They have Elspeth Conquers Death. Let's find out. Boom. That's really good. That's really good. Potentially. The opponent might pay a little bit more life and the Shark Typhoon might get them. Second Prince. Still scrying. Oh, my dog was barking at the Poison Ivy guy. There's a person here to destroy our Poison Ivy problem. Alright, guys. How to do it. Think we do this name even, get rid of these, play Uro? Or we let the opponent draw 2 cards and then try to ninja move them with Shark. Let's try to ninja move them with Shark. There isn't too much bad that can happen. Maybe they use an Eliminate. Maybe they start a Yorian loop. I guess these are things that could happen. We'll wait till end step. Is that 4 Castle Lock Lane? Holy crap. Our opponent's serious about their castle life. Yes, draw a card. Do it. Do it. Yes. Down to 5. What you got? You got the answer? They're reaching for the castle. Down to 2. Now they're dead to Ugin. It's getting a thought erasure. Play around, Swift response, or some draft card. Just to see what they drew. 2 Casualties of War is not ideal in an opener on the play, because it's going to be really hard to curve out and play them. But the other 2 cards, I think I'd keep a 5-card hand with these. So we're going to hang on to it, and we'll see what happens. This is mono red. We play mono red. Yeah, Eliminate into Cultivate's pretty smart to keep their board presence slowed down. Cultivate, probably one of the best draws we could have. It means that we might actually cast this Casualties of War. And another land, yeah, there will be casualties. There actually will be casualties. Let's grab another green. We've got lots of blue, actually. We've got lots of black, too. Well, 2 black. 2 black, 3 blue, so we'll grab a black. No Annex. No nothing, in fact. That's kind of bizarre for a red deck. Let's hang on to this. We might have to cycle it. Bringing back Uro sooner could be nice. Do some priority holding. Nope. I guess that's cat's out of the bag there. Well, if they play a creature, we want them to think we might have a removal spell. Bone Crushes. Okay. And a dodgy. Alright, they must have just top decked this, so what's their hand? It's not Robber of the Rich or Runaway Steamkin. It's no other 1-drops. So Torbran, Embercleave, it's not Annex, another Bone Crusher Giant. We'll put them on Torbran, Embercleave, and another Bone Crusher Giant. We'll see how close we are. So in that case, I feel like we should be firing casualties off. I also don't know if we need to cycle this now. This is 1, 2, 3 cards in graveyard, so that gets back the Uros, so we don't need to cycle this anymore. I don't like taking the damage from this Bone Crusher Giant, but we can't take the Embercleave to the face for 10. That came off the top, and they don't have another land in hand. So yeah, we're still on Bone Crusher, Embercleave, Torbran. Let's get the other Uro down, or let's get one Uro out there. Thought Erasure. Grab the island, bring back the Uro, leave up the Triome. Maybe we can still play Thought Erasure this turn. Bringing back Uro is often all it takes, though. I think we've figured out what makes red decks rage, and it's the return of the Uro. On the draw, we've got lots of the interactive pieces to keep from getting run over. Let's hang on to it. Triome. If they go turn 2 Clover, I'm going to be salty. Should have known from the Song of Creation sleeves. This is a teamer mage. And for the record, I still hate sand. It's coarse and rough. Elementals, okay. Elementals is an interesting matchup. A lot of ways this could go. Bolt the bird? Nah. Hit the hand. Grab the Nissa. Bin the Triome. We're going to have to use Extinction Event to clear out some of this riffraff, these mana dorks. That is a card you can draw. Pretty good rip. Pretty good rip. But do they have any more land? Yes. Alright, so we know everything about them now. Let's... If they top deck Genesis Ultimatum, they can't play it. So no need to remove anything yet. Let's keep ramping up ourselves. You know, we just hold priority with this Fabled Passage. Don't let him know we don't have much to do. Wow, what a set of rips now from the opponent. I mean, it's hard to beat that. If they're gonna draw like that, I think we're gonna die a miserable death. See, now they can get back the Uro. So, do we have to clear this Cavalier of Thorns? Do we have to name Odd with our Extinction Event? What a cheeky monster. Alright. Could also... So, then next turn when they bring back Uro, we can eliminate it. Or we can set up for Casualties of War. Please stop top decking well. I would like that. I would like the part of the game where you draw really well to be over now. Do you think you can do that? Let's find out.
I cannot protect
a land. Uh-huh. We'll see how that dominance works out for you. What a rip. Just thinking. So, we can get back the Uro this turn, but we can't also eliminate their Uro, which I think is absolutely imperative. As much as I like Casualties of War, I don't feel like I need it yet. So let's power you up. Full control. Full control. Eliminate. Get our 3 points. And see what the opponent's spell here is. Is it a good one? Is it a game winner? Fabled Passage. That's it? Okay. Maybe they heard my cry. Let's go get an island. We're pretty low on blue sources. Nope, can't use black mana that way. So, like this. Uro. I'm pretty sure their card isn't a good one, but let's make sure. Need to use my mana on something. Let's make a blue mana available because we can.
The land shall conquer you.
All right, they're crossing their fingers. They're just over there like, so Genesis Ultimatum? No patience. They don't have the patience to wait for Genesis Ultimatum. On the play, we cultivate an Uro into sharks. What more could you ask for? No removal, though. No sweepers. If our opponent comes out with the creatures a-flying, we're going to need to draw into the answers we need. Temple of Milady. There's one I don't see often. So, we could put the Fae of Wishes on the battlefield, or we could try to save it. I might have a lot of regrets if I don't play this. But when my opponent opens with a temple, I think we're in a ramp mirror. And in a ramp mirror, I really want this to go fetch really good cards. Gilded Goose. Food? Do people play with their food still? I don't know. Because Scavenging Ooze is a thing, let's play Cultivate first. I guess I have enough black by far. Let's grab green and blue. Migration Path. A ramp? A green-black ramp deck. And we top deck a Nissa after shuffling one away. That's busted. I don't know what the opponent is doing. Should I just Fae and duress them? I think I'm going to do that. I need to know what's going on before they Casualties of War my Nissa and do other busted things. When facing a brew... Whew. Okay, yeah, that is indeed what's going on here. Wow, look at that power. So what do we want to face more? Liliana Dreadhorde General? Or Nissa who shakes the frickin' world? I think I'd rather take on the Liliana, to be honest. We're definitely not hard casting the Typhoon. Ooh. Okay. So we can play a Nissa and also Thought Erase the Casualties of War. But if we do that, we don't have a blocker. Nissa gets attacked for 2. I guess that's fine. But we do need to start making things that can square off against Liliana and a giant shark that might eat her, so. Alright. I don't want to give my opponent cards.
Nature's true power.
So, we're not going to attack them. They're casting the Migration Path. I thought they'd cycle it. They must go really big in this deck. But they don't have the the power of the X, like Hydroid Krasis, Shark Typhoon. These are X cards. They don't have those. So what are they doing with all that mana? Could name even. We'd lose our land. They'd still have Goose. They'd still draw. Nah, the play is the Shark Typhoon. And then we have to clear the Goose, so we'll name Odd with this so that we get to the Liliana before she ultimates. Honk honk. It's a risky play. Removal spell might leave us in a really ugly spot. But we'll make it be an instant speed removal spell, and it's going to have to come from the top of the library.
Good help is easy to find in war.
9, exactly. And a Krasis. And a Heartless Act. No, we use Extinction Event, right? So that they don't draw a card. Give them as few draws as possible. Have you ever used Extinction Event to exile 1 Goose? Come on. Come on, hit. Hit, darn you.
Fine, I'll leave.
Fine, I'll leave. Frickin' awesome lines. Let's also drop a Krasis. Keep 1 blocker. I was kind of hoping to draw a Black Source, but oh well. We could play the Fae. Let's keep it in safekeeping. I mean, I don't know what's in their deck, but something bad could still happen. An Extinction Event for even is our whole board. It's their board too. Opponent falls to 20, calls it a day. Whew. Yes, that Golgari ramp deck was scary, man. Their top end was super powerful, and I could have sworn they were going to top deck and eliminate or something to kill that shark. My soul's been sucked. Getting mana screwed in a 28 land 2 cultivate deck is kind of unbearable. So if I'm a little subdued, it's because I have taken an absolute beating from Magic the Gathering today. An absolute beating, but we're you know, the content ain't gonna make itself. All right. Kill this Innkeeper. Watch the opponent Beanstalk Giant, probably. Let's find out. Backup Innkeeper. Backup Clover. That is a way to have a hand. Let's say, do I try to Typhoon ambush this thing? The opponent might be aggressive. They don't usually play around Shark Typhoon. I'm taking a chance. I'm taking a chance. Besides, they might have Brazen Borrower, they might have Bone Crusher Giant, and at least they're forced to play them during their turn. No? What the heck is going on? So they have what? What's their hand? Escape to the Wilds? Fae of Wishes. Nice. Alright, this is the part of the game where it feels like you already lost, but you can always hope they fetch their cards really poorly. Once in future, they don't have triple green yet. Escape, yeah, that's a great card. They don't seem like they're fetching very poorly. They're supposed to fetch like Ugin and Chandra, like these expensive cards that don't do anything. So they have Negate, so I'm going to Cultivate now and get Uro later. I might need to cycle this Triumph, the way that this game is going. Miss your land drop. Yes! Okay. Magic is happening. Uro. Uro. Now we need the casualties of war. Quickly. Or a Hydroid Crisis. That would also be very nice. Okay. Am I cycling both of these? I'll play one. Brazen Borrower? Or are you going to get back an Innkeeper? You can only get one because of Adamant, and it goes on top of your deck. That's a pretty big mistake. Now they're going to miss their land drops. They get to play two of these and play Fae, though, so maybe it's fine. No, they just play one and they play nothing. They're going to hold up this Negate forever. Alright. Alright, buddy. You want to counter one of these? Nope. So I also get the Uro back? Bizarre. We hit the Crisis, so we play the Triumph. Yep, here comes the Giants. So our opponent's been terrified to tap out since they fetched that Negate. It's forced them to play this game in weird ways. They're missing land drops. Will they like play Innkeeper and play the Bone Crusher Giant now? Yes. They're gonna tap out. So let's see if we can find something good to do to them. They still miss their land. I'm sure they're feeling a little tilted. We'll go with Odd. And I don't think we play the Crisis here. The opponents, they're going to want to cast, they're going to want to hold this Negate up. We've seen it all game. Let's just say go. We want max Crisis, man. We need all the cards we can get to fight this matchup. Can you imagine if the opponent had a land in their sideboard and they fetched the land instead of the Negate? How different this game would be. Alright, they get triple Fae. Let's see what they do this time. Do they have the land in their sideboard? I bet they really wish they do. Disdainful Stroke is a card. This is a huge turn coming up, though. What if we top deck Nissa? That would be so brutal. Pulse of Marasa. Okay. Commence the end game? Dude. Dude. You're crazy. Discard something. Make it good. Brazen Borrower. Out of there. See how they handle this? The Nissa shows up late. Look at the Fabled Passages. Look at them all. Am I out of basics? I'm close to out of basics. I think 2 of these are gonna work and 1 isn't. Ooh, they get another land drop, but they're not gonna have stroke or negate here. Oh yeah. This game is about to go crazy. I think they're favored, quite honestly, at looking at their resources, but I don't know what they've still got in their sideboard that's good. That's pretty handy. So that's 4. Last land. How do I get this back? I guess I have to play this? They have their own Nissa. I feel like we have to fight them on a mana front for sure. Like, everything that happens after this turn is going to be so devastating. So if they want to pay a bunch of mana for the Nissa, I guess that's what has to happen. But the Brazen Borrower, wait a minute. They did not reveal a way to beat this Krasis. Let's take the Borrower, and maybe they can't beat it. I guess they can just pulse it back, right? They can just pulse the dang thing back. They can't pulse back the Nissa. But I guess if we make them use 3 mana on the pulse, is that a good play? Oh, man. I guess I'm taking Nissa here. Another Krasis seems very good.
Strange and magnificent world. The land fights for us.
Triple block. Destroy target creature with no counters. And this is why I should have put this in the bin. I'd be getting the Euro back this turn. I oopsed. I oopsed bad. So we could play this naming odd, right? And still get the Euro back. 1, 2, 3, 4. I feel like I'm gonna need this though. Although they're not really playing any creatures for a long time. I need to get the Uro now. The opponent can Brazen Borrow this, the Nissa, and the Uro though. But they can't counter everything. They still only have 1 blue source. I guess they fetch a bunch with the Giant. Oh man. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm doing it. We are the aggressor. We have to find a way through this. We must beat them down. We must finish them here, now. Somehow. Yep, they're gonna go get blue sources with the Beanstalk Giant so that they are able to do those things. They're going to Brazen Borrow me. That doesn't get rid of the land, so they still need to stop the land. And they also want to have blue mana available to negate the Nissa. Or something. Yeah, we're in a resolve all situation, I guess. And nothing? Now they want to counter my stuff? Okay, they still take 3 here. So they'll be at 6. Let's look around. They're definitely going to try to counter Nissa, so we want to play like Hydroid Krasis, but we also want to do this before combat just in case... What? So if we go for the 6, let's see. We want to play around Negate pretty much indefinitely, force them to hold mana open for the Negate. Pulse has a Brazen Borrower target, which is frustrating, but it's okay. Let's just do these for 4 then, so that they can go through Fae of Wishes, nice and easy. Disdainful Stroke, yep. Get that out of the way. They don't know about the other Krasis. Second Nissa. Well, we can go for double Nissa next turn. We can also go for Fae. They'll negate that for sure. Ooh, we don't want them to use the Pulse though, right? If we play this, they can't Pulse. I still think it's better though to have this just threatening their life. Yeah. Sucks about the Pulse. Pulse Borrower. Here we go again. But next turn we can go for double Nissa. Man, this game turned bad really fast. Here come some critters. Our opponent hasn't had blockers for us to deal with for a while. But if that's all they're doing, okay, their plan is commence. Nissa. Nissa who shakes the world. Negate. Nissa, who shakes the world. Have you met Nissa?
Witness the ties that bind us all.
Power up this little guy. Alright, Brazen Borrower is coming, so we want to use the mana now. We can go fetch with Fae. Let's see what the opponent does if I do. It's not like what I have is particularly great against my opponent. We're at 35 though. Like, flinging us is going to be really hard. We can't counter the commence the end game. We can use casualties. So attacking with a 3/3 here, they draw 2, causes a lot of problems. Rather play Uro. Take 5. That Shark Typhoon. Oh, the manual taps. It must be another escape. Oh, your own Nissa. into the face of the casualties of
Will
war.
not fail.
Wow. This is where like having the random 1 negate in the main deck would totally get me. Maybe they just know the mana advantage they can gain here is worth it, because they can do so many things. Let's find out. When you Adventurous Impulse for a Fabled Passage at this phase in the game, that's a whiff. And the opponent is at 5. Let's not forget, they are at 5 staring down a Casualties of War in hand, Nissa on the board. Okay. They dig. That Lovestruck Beast can make a lot of blockers. I think their manual taps have gone a little haywire. We've got to wear out that Brazen Borrower before the Typhoon can be very helpful. Of course, we could play this and start making sharks. Ooh, is that the play? 6/6 Shark from the Casualties of War? 5/5 Shark for each Nissa we cast? We also have our own Fae and a ton of mana. We have to keep an eye out for lethal, I suppose. What do we have in the deck? We have Ugin. Ugin can put 3 on the dome. We have Shadow Spear. The opponent goes to 3. We just have to do our best to untap with Nissa. If we can do that, I think we got this. Okay. Still quite the turn. Quite the turn. Very impressive. Let's do what we can to get Nissa on tap, because that's what's important here. If the opponent had a Bone Crusher Giant, Nissa would just be dead, but we'll see.
Do not test me.
Where are their Bone Crushers? Did I already deal with them? Just one. I guess they still have 20-some cards. All right, our opponent is at 3. What could they actually do about an Ugin? I don't see it. I'm going to untap now in case any other shenanigans go down here, like bouncing my Nissa, because we want all the mana. All of it. You can go. I love Hydroid Krasis, but you can go. What you gonna do? I'm going to the dome. I'm headed straight to the top. Right to the top. Gonna dome ya. Thinking.
Accept a lesser world, and you will grow lost to history.
Yes! Yes, indeed. And we are back for a post-game wrap-up, and I like the deck. There's not much that I really want to change. I think a lot of the numbers are good. You could edit them, and it would be fine. If you don't want to run a wish board and want to cut the Fae of Wishes to put another card in the main deck, that is totally fine. I think 3 Thought Erasures, it's either 2 or 3. I don't think you want 4 in best of 1 because aggro decks will just destroy you when you draw more than one of them. And then the removal spells were good. They were there when I needed them. You could run 2 Aether Gust and run 2 each of these if you're willing to take the chance of Aether Gust being dead. But for the most part, I like the deck as it is. I don't feel like it needs a bunch of change. It's competitive in most situations as long as you have a good early spell and you are careful to make sure your Nissa lives. If you got those 2 things going for you, you're doing it, and I think you can grind back to Mythic as quickly as you want to with this baby. And let's talk about the grind to Mythic. We're gonna take a little minute here at the end of this video for me to talk about my own mythical things last season. I had this goal and I didn't even talk about it because I thought it was pretty absurd goal, because one of the things that I struggle with is, and I'll say it often, if I play a different deck every day, I usually think I'll run out of ideas and that I have to play jank or other stuff to be entertaining, and that I can't be competitive if I'm playing a different deck every day. So I always thought that jank rakes and things like that were absolutely necessary, and some of you love those things. But last season, I wanted to play ranked a lot. I think I played it all but 1, maybe 2 days. And I also wanted to stay in the top, in the numbers, the top 1,500 the entire season. And I basically did. I fell into the 99%, the 98%, I think once or twice, but always climbed my way back up. And I thought, you know, that was really actually pretty cool. When all was done and I looked back on it, it was like, wow, we got in, we peaked at around number 11, we finished around 180 something, let's call it 187 for the cool factor. That was pretty cool. That felt pretty nice. So while it's taken me a long time to get to a spot where I know that my rank is not my worth. I don't lose sleep and I don't overdwell on it. And if I had finished in 99% or lower, I don't think I'd hate myself for it. But that takes a lot of self-awareness, and it's not for everyone. But it is a cool journey to take if you can do it in a healthy way. And I'm very proud. Just gonna pat myself on the back a little. I'm very proud of myself because I think it makes for good, entertaining content. I've learned that you guys really do, in a lot of cases, respect the rank. So I will try to continue doing well for you. It won't always go great, won't always be pretty. I might play some bad decks and D-rank very quickly, but I know what it takes to get back. The one in best of 1 knows how to win in best of 1, and 60%-ish win rate with a different deck every day, playing best of 1 every day. I'm proud of that. People aren't going to congratulate you much on your accomplishments as you get older. When you're younger, well, you graduate high school, you graduate college, and you get married, and people line up and cheer and they clap for you. And then after that, it's all down. Like, after that, you spend all your time congratulating other people. So if you do something cool and you're proud of yourself, make sure you take a minute to say, that was cool. I did that. That's awesome. It may not mean a lot to everybody else, but if it means something to you, make sure you celebrate. And you can always tweet at me, CovertGoBlue, on Twitter. Give me a screenshot of the rank you hit or the number you hit. I'll take a minute. I'll say congrats. I understand. Like, we live in a world where our accomplishments are going to mean a lot more to ourselves than they will to other people. So just wanted to share that because it might mean something to some of you, but primarily for myself. So hope you don't mind. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.